Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Sugars. My name is Nomza Moshangase and this is my YouTube channel where I speak about all things books, DIY and lifestyle. If that is your kind of jam or one of the things that I've mentioned is your thing, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell to get notified every single time your homegirl post a video. So as you can tell by the title of this video, I am finally doing a book wrap up. I haven't done one of these in the past, I want to say 3-4 months. Yo, today we're gonna cover all of that. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So for me, I read 3 books. The first one was The Unhoneymooners by Christina. We follow Olive and Ethan. I think it's a frenemies to lovers. Olive, you know, she's always been unlucky in every situation that you can think of. She's currently unemployed and her sister seems to have all the luck. She has found the perfect husband. She always wins stuff until, you know, on the actual wedding day where actually 2 people end up not eating the same thing as everybody else, and everybody else on the wedding gets sick besides Olive and Ethan. How convenient. Yeah, they end up actually having to go to the honeymoon. It's a typical, you know, frenemies to lovers. I didn't particularly like this book. I was quite disappointed with this book because it did not give the enemies to lovers that I thought they give. I didn't really feel it. It's like, I just didn't. And when you found out why they even don't like each other, it was kind of stupid. It was not my favorite Christina book. So even the romance, like, it did not give. I didn't see them being like in a great relationship after the vacation. It kind of gave like situationship kind of vibe. I was disappointed. So yeah, that's all I have to say for it. Second book that I read in May is The Gold Diggers by Sue Nyathi. This book was actually like a pleasant surprise. It follows different people that are traveling from Bulawayo to Johannesburg to look for greener pastures. When they get to Johannesburg, they are met with different circumstances. You know, some people get lost, some people get kidnapped, other people find themselves leading a life that they never thought they would lead. It was heartbreaking and it was heartwarming. I was rooting for a couple of people. I remember rooting for Dumsani, rooting for the twins. Oh, the twins story haunts me to this day. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It was such a great surprise and I really enjoyed it. Last book I read in May was Coconut by Kopano. This book was very refreshing. I haven't come across a lot of authors that writes the way Kopano wrote in Coconut. It was very poetic and lyrical and it was just beautiful to read, even though the structure was not my favorite. And the things that she touched on here were things that some things I was like, I know about, I'm passionate about those topics, like to engage in conversations about those topics. And other things, I feel like she opened my eyes because like I saw myself in some tiny way in these characters. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. There is a book review that I recently just posted. I'll put it on the cards and you guys can go check it out. The first book that I read in June was Verity by Collen Hoover. If you don't know, I'm a big fan of Collen Hoover and I think there is a reading vlog of me reading this book. You follow Lowen, a struggling author, financially, emotionally, everything. Like, she's struggling. Gets an opportunity to finish this series of this famous author. When she goes to the house of this famous author, you know, look at the notes, look at the outlines and trying to finish the series, she learns a lot about this author who is, by the way, Verity. It's her roller coaster what she finds in that house and the things that just happen in that house. I know Collen Hoover as a romance girl, so I have never read anything of hers that's like a thriller. Guys, let me tell you, if you do not like Collen Hoover, it's okay, but please read this book. This book is gripping from the first sentence up until those last 10 pages. It was a really great thriller. It was really great. Definitely a 5-star. Second book that I actually finished the month of June was my new favorite romance, Real by Kennedy Ryan. And let me tell you guys, if I haven't said it before, Kennedy Ryan is like my new favorite author. Like, I love her. So in this book we follow Canon and what was that other girl's name? What was her name? Guys, I forgot their names. We follow an actress and a director. They are working on this project together, this movie. It gave like such a great representation of people who are so invested in their craft, like their creative craft. The aspiring actress, her drive, her always sticking with, this is my dream, this is what I was born to do. It was just so beautiful to actually see that and see someone who strongly believes in their craft and who wants to embrace it and wants to share it with other people. Let me tell you something, that love story, it's a slow burn, guys. It's beautiful. Like, you feel the tension, you feel the love when they're like, oh no, we need to be professional. Kennedy Ryan wrote them so well. Just to see a black woman being loved so beautifully by a black man. And that black man worships the ground that she walks on. Father, can you hear me? Another thing that I really enjoyed about this book was the representation of chronic illness that was represented so well into the story. A lot of things that Kennedy Ryan touched on without making it like the main thing. I urge you guys to read this book. Like, you will not regret it, okay? Another book that I read in June was We Were Liars by E.Lockhart, and this was disappointing. It was all a lie. I have a whole reading vlog of me reading this book, and you guys will see my reaction after reading this book that I was not happy. You know when they were like, there's a plot twist, and the plot twist is like, okay, and then what? The last books that I read in June were The Princess Bride Part 1 and Part 2. We follow this prince and then this really rich, famous girl who are kind of forced to marry each other in order for the girl to get her inheritance and then for the prince to be saved and actually to continue leading the country that he's from. But the girl is from Seattle, she lives there, and her father owned this really big company that's kind of like Google. And her father died, and then one of the stipulations for her and her stepsister to get their inheritance was that they need to get married. It's a marriage of convenience. Part 1, we follow the prince being in the girl's world, being in Seattle. I really love this book, like I really enjoyed it. I'm not the type of person who likes slow burn. I'm not a big fan. But with this one, you felt that they were building towards something, and every single time they would have interactions and their internal monologue, it was like you can tell the love growing. In Part 2, actually the girl being in the prince's world, she basically faced with so many challenges. Reminded me of Meghan and Prince Harry. The topics that, you know, were mentioned there, her being a black girl and him being white, just those conversations about racism and how she struggled with who she was when she is that, because she's forced to act a certain way, look a certain way because the monarchy. You get to see that they have like emotional struggles individually. I really enjoyed this book, and also if you're the type of person that likes slow burn, definitely check these books out. The first book that I read and finished in July is Twisted Lies by Huang. It was a lie. It was a lie. I have read the Twisted series, so Twisted Haze was really great, but the other books were just And the fourth book is Twisted Lies. It's basically fake dating between this billionaire security CEO and this girl who is a Instagram socialite. Usually I would like this kind of trope, but this one didn't give. It's just something off, like, with fake dating there's usually some tension and the build up is always great, but here it's just, didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, so yeah. Book that I finished, that I started actually in June but I finished in July, was Grownups by Mariana. We follow a family of 3 brothers and their wives and their kids. We have Johnny, who is married to Jesse, who Jesse was married to his best friend who passed away. And Jesse had 2 kids with the late ex-husband, and then with Johnny they have 3 kids. And then the second brother is Ed and Kara. Kara and Ed have 2 boys. Then we have Liam and Nell. Liam was married before and he has 2 kids with that woman. He believes that he should have never been a father, and I understand it because he is a shitty dad. And then we also have Frida, who is like the eldest of the children. Jesse spends money like stupid crazy, like irresponsibly. Johnny is a man who feels like he's not enough for his family. He doesn't feel like he's enough for Jesse. He doesn't deserve the life that he has, and he feels like he should have done more with his life. Kara has an eating disorder, and Ed was the kind of sane person. He only loved his family, Kara and the boys, and he loved science and trees. Nell is a very frugal girl. She lives her life purposefully. She's such a make the world a better place type of girl. Then we have Liam, who used to be famous for being an athlete, but now He's the last born in his family. He just likes the attention on himself. I just didn't like him. Freedom is the oldest of the children. We got to see also his struggles and how the relationship that he has with his mother is strained because his mom got married to his dad's best friend. It's very normal stuff, but yet, you know, you got to learn a couple of things. Growing up doesn't necessarily have an age. Some characters did grow in this book, and then other characters just didn't. And we know who that is. It was not the greatest, but I enjoyed this book. Last book that I read in July was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I found my other favorite romance. We follow Nora and Charlie. We just follow them being book lovers, basically. Nora is the type of person who loves the city, loves having a checklist. You know, when her sister is like, let's go to a small town and reconnect, you know, as sisters, Nora is taken aback, but she wants to do this because they haven't spent a lot of time together. And when she gets there, she sees Charlie, who they didn't have a great interactions a couple years before. It's an ode to the people who love reading, guys. I feel like this book is an ode to us. Not about the romance, the dynamics of being who you truly are and being accepted, being who you are and being loved regardless and without having to change yourself. Like, Nora is a badass book agent, and Charlie's like, I'm obsessed with you. I love you. I don't want to change you. I want you to stay the way that you are. The dynamic of siblings and, you know, going through different stages and the different roles. It talks about how those lines can be blurred and, you know, Nora became more of a mother instead of a sister. I really love this book. I feel like Emily Henry, she did it this time because I didn't enjoy Beach Read that much, but I feel like she really redeemed herself here. I'm still yet to read People We Meet on Vacation. This one, 5-star, loved it. Put it on your cart and check it out. But we come to August, and if you haven't watched my reading vlog, I'll put it on the cards and you can watch it after you finish watching this video. In August, I finished Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi and The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwaeke Emezi. Freshwater, we follow Ada and the spirits that are within her. The story is narrated from the spirits' point of view. The spirits believed that they were the ones controlling the human, making her do all these things that they wanted to be done. Towards the end, you kind of understand these are one being. You know, that kind of story, that kind of structure of looking at things from the voices in your head point of view was really good and interesting, because obviously I know the humane point of view of how we deal with things, how we deal with trauma, how we deal with assault, how we deal with mental illness, how we deal with heartbreak, how we deal with, you know, all the things that happen in our lives. I really enjoyed this book. My favorite spirit was definitely the Asugara. It was a bit toxic, but I loved it. So it was really empowering in a way. Oh, really love this book. Last but definitely not least, everybody, and y'all know, if you don't know, now you know, it's The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwaeke Emezi. I love everything about this book. I don't think there's a lot I need to say about this book except Vivek's story is one of my favorite stories. How people viewed Vivek, how they loved Vivek, how they supported Vivek, especially, you know, his cousin, his friends, and even his parents, they loved him. This book is so beautiful, guys, and just go read it. The conversation of finding yourself, of identity, of gender, of love, forbidden love, friendship, grief, guilt, heartbreak, everything. I don't think they'll ever top this book. This is their best book. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. If you want to hear more, please do check out my reading vlog on the cards or in the description below. Go read this book. That's all I'm gonna say. We have come to the end. I never thought this day would come, but I think I'm all caught up now. I can do wrap-ups because I'm all caught up now. If you did like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and hit that little bell to get notified every single time your own girl post a video. Until next time, sugars, thank you so much for watching. Bye.